Tony Williams, and it's June 18, 2022, and I'm driving from my house in San Diego to the Mexican border to begin the 10th anniversary of BC2BC, the first electric car to drive from Mexico to Canada. Just like in 2012 when I did this, it's in a brand new Nissan LEAF. This one happens to be the longest range Nissan LEAF with 226 miles of range. I believe it has the 62 kilowatt hour battery. It's a fantastic car, surprisingly not that much different than the original car from 10 years ago, but they made a lot of great improvements. It's a beautiful day in Southern California, and I expect a smooth ride just like I had over the 9 days that I did this exact same trip on June of 2012. My daughter, who rode with me on that original trip, isn't with us now, but I have a picture of her right in the back seat, and she'll be riding along in memory for the entire trip. I hope to take some great shots along the way. It's a beautiful scenic tour down the Pacific coast, and we'll see how it goes. See you at the Mexican border. The last exit in the United States and California going into Mexico. We're gonna get off the freeway here. If I would not have gotten off here, I would be probably crossing the border and spending an hour or more trying to get back. So we're not gonna physically cross the border, we're just gonna go to the border. You can kind of see all the cars already backed up at the entrance going into Mexico. Lots of people here walk across the border. They don't drive their car. That is Tijuana, Mexico, right on the other side of the fence. And that is the wall. Those vehicles you can see right there, those are in Mexico. All right, on we go to Canada. All right, this is our first stop to charge. We've driven 136 miles. And have about 19% battery left. Hopefully I can find this place pretty easy, but I have no idea. Well, I drove right past this location, so I had to turn around. And I'm gonna have to make a U-turn right in the middle of the street, but it's right there. Right into this little shopping mall or plaza or corner mart. I don't know what they would call this. Looks like we got lots of choices, so we're gonna pick the one that has the most power. And I don't know which ones those are, to be honest. Maybe the one that's taller than the rest. I don't know. Maybe we'll try them both. How's that sound? All right, I'm here. Okay, I made it to the first stop. It's near Long Beach, California, and looks like I got to duck down a little bit. This one's kind of unique. A good friend of mine was instrumental in making this happen. So it has a Tesla charge port that's also part of the location. So there's Tesla, and then the North American, what's called CCS or Combo 1, and then it also has CHAdeMO, which is what this car actually uses. So we'll try that. I have my card. Of course, EVgo also uses an app. So I'll try the card. I've had this for a very long time, probably for 10 years actually, because it still says NRG, which is the previous outfit. So let's see where program card, hold card to RFID reader. Is that here? Okay, now it says I'm approved. I figured it out. Authorizing my payment, payment authorized. So let's try this part. All right, it still says connecting to vehicle. I don't know how long that's supposed to take. I do hear clicking noises. Another clicking noise. Connection successful, that's what it says if it's hard to see. It's hard for me to see actually, it really needs a screen on it. And there it is, it shows 19%. And how much time? It's already up over 58%, 61. This car should take about 100 kilowatts, give or take. And it looks like it's up to 63. That might be all we get. Well, I made it through the first charging session after driving about 130 or 140 miles. Took a long time. I had a lot of difficulties with different issues, not related to the car. But when we got to the charge station, for whatever reason, one of them wouldn't work. So I ended up using one that worked quite well sitting next to me. Here we are in the Los Angeles area with just horrific traffic. And, you know, I got nothing else to do but say hi. 10 years ago when we did this trip, I would have already have stopped a multiple times to get to this point. And we were only able to use one fast charger. Every other stop was at something slow. And there was only 2 of them, to my knowledge, at the time in the entire Southern California area. And that was one near downtown Los Angeles and one in Orange County at the headquarters for Mitsubishi. And I did use that one, the latter one at Mitsubishi. When I got to Los Angeles to try and use the one there that was brand new, it was installed by Blink, they had it locked up behind a fence and not even usable. A lot of US government taxpayer money was spent to put that equipment in, and it just wasn't usable. So, and of course, you know, Blink didn't survive. It ended up going bankrupt after taking about $115+ million from the taxpayer. So they did quite well, I'm sure, personally, but they left us with, you know, a legacy of pretty poor equipment. So I think it's still in business, to be honest. I won't use a Blink charger on this entire route. Even if one were available, I probably wouldn't go to it. I would choose one of the other pretty well-run charging networks that didn't even exist. Some of them didn't exist when I did this trip before. NRG became EVgo, and now it's just EVgo, privately owned, not even associated with NRG. That started because of a lawsuit about electricity in California. And part of the settlement was to build a bunch of charging networks. I don't remember the exact number they had to build, but they had to install, so many of them to meet the criteria. Another one that's here in California and throughout the United States anyway, in North America, is Electrify America. And that was started by Volkswagen. And they've done a pretty good job. Those are pretty well. They don't support the CHAdeMO plug that's used worldwide, and in particular used on the Nissan LEAF so well. They tend to either not have any at all, or they just have just one, and then they limit the speed of that one to just 50 kilowatts. So, everybody, in North America, Tesla doesn't put in, plugs that work for Volkswagen or work for Nissan, and vice versa. Volkswagen, didn't really want to put in any that would help Nissan. The only reason they did at all was because, again, another lawsuit for the Dieselgate, when they had such high emissions on their cars, the diesel cars, and they cheated, that they had to pay retribution for that to the US government and the state of California. So there's two charging networks that I will use, Electrify America and EVgo. ChargePoint is a California company, and it started even before. ChargePoint was actually running when I made this trip in 2012, but they had a belief that nobody needs a fast charger. It's kind of comical now, but myself and some other folks actually invested in and owned the very first ChargePoint DC fast charger, and we installed it in Orange County, and it did quite well for a few years. Eventually the unit failed, the hardware pieces failed, and the unit, I physically returned it to the manufacturer, Fuji, who isn't even in the charging business anymore. They tested it and decided not to participate anymore. So, but ChargePoint will have DC fast charging, and obviously I know that network fairly well, having been a vendor for them, the very first on the DC charger. Our charger actually was serial number 1, and the ChargePoint headquarters has the twin to it, which is serial number 2. I believe it's still there at their headquarters in the San Jose area, Silicon Valley area. So anyway, those are three networks I'll use. The fourth one that I'll use is called Webasto, and that was a purchase from the old AeroVironment, which was a company here based in California, right in the Los Angeles area, just maybe 50 or so miles to my east, where I'm at right now near Los Angeles Airport. And they received a contract to build the West Coast Electric Highway. And of course, I was the first person to cross both Oregon and Washington solely using the DC fast chargers supplied by the AeroVironment company. So I'll have to, apparently my fob from 10 years ago doesn't work anymore. I already called them. Everybody has an app now, and that works great unless your phone is dead and doesn't have power. So I prefer to have a card or a fob in addition to having the app, but the apps are pretty handy, and everything works so much better than it did way back then. That's not to say there's not some problems like we just had at our first charging event, where the first charger I used didn't work at all. I did report it to the folks at EVgo, and so I'm looking forward to using lots more of those. I always like the EVgo network. I think they have almost 1,000 fast charging locations, if not more, in the United States. So they're definitely well established. Electrify America is well established, and the Webasto stuff is pretty much just Northern California and Oregon and Washington, which was what AeroVironment was. And they recently, in May of this year, of 2022, just last month, have kind of announced upgrading all those old chargers that are now 10 years old with newer chargers. They handle both the charge port that is used on the Nissan LEAF, but also for the other cars that came after it, like the Chevrolet Bolt with a B, and Porsche and Volkswagen and the rest of them that use that. Of course, a Tesla car can use either CHAdeMO, which is what the Nissan LEAF uses, with an adapter, and it can also use the CCS Combo 1, which is only used in North America and South Korea, again with an adapter. So that's super handy. And the all you need is those adapters, and the Tesla cars can use their own supercharger network, which unfortunately I can't use with the Nissan LEAF. So anyway, while I was chatting, I managed to miss my exit to get to Malibu. So I'm going to turn around and try it again. Anyway, bye for now. We made it to Malibu, California. I'm in pretty much the same spot I was 10 years ago. They've changed out the old Clipper Creek units for some charge point units. Well, we made it to Ventura County, the third county in the actually fourth county. So San Diego County, Orange County, Los Angeles County, and now Ventura County. And next will be Santa Barbara. Well, this is officially our second stop. I got a little lost, but now I'm here in Oxnard at Esplanade, I think it's called. And there's an In-N-Out Burger over there, very popular in California. I've used this charger before. I don't know if they have new units here or not. We'll find out real soon. Weather is just fantastic. The skies are big and blue. It is a fantastic day in Southern California. And it'll be a lot more fantastic when I find the chargers. I think they're right over here to the right. There they are. At 2 o'clock, less than a mile. And here we go. So there's a standalone CHAdeMO over there. And then there's the 125 kilowatt unit here. Ordinarily, I would just use the other one, but this one's just a little bit faster and there's nobody else here. Turn off Highway 101 in Santa Barbara and go kind of a shortcut up the 154. It goes over those hills you see in front of us, and we'll go to our next charger near Solvang. It's kind of a cute town, and it's a neat drive. Made it to Solvang. I've used the charger here before, but it's been upgraded, so hopefully this will charge a little faster. The battery is getting kind of warm. That's an issue with the Nissan LEAF, unfortunately. Looks like this guy's going to run right into us. All right, let me get out of their way. Yeah, this is a neat market. There's the charger just waiting for us over there. It's almost the longest day of the year. Let me get straightened out a little bit here. This car makes a funny sound in reverse. Welcome to Solvang. The sun is just in our eyes here. This was our first overnight in 2012. I was right here in this town at a hotel right in front of us. And we parked the Nissan LEAF across the street in a parking lot that had J1772 plug. I don't recall it being networked. There weren't a whole lot of networked anything. You just plugged it in those days. But it might have been, and I just don't remember. Yeah, I think it was that hotel, so the parking lot should have been right here. And it might have been the parking lot down the street. Yeah, it was that hotel. Here we go. This segment between Solvang, California and Big Sur, California was our third day of travel in 2012. Of course, I'm still on day one here in 2022. The car is having some difficulties, which were kind of expected. This is the third charging event, and the car has really slowed down. The battery got warm or hot, and it really slowed down the charge rate to almost a ridiculously slow rate. It was, about 20 kilowatts or less. And so I sat there and had some dinner at the market. Probably was there, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 minutes if I had to guess. And only got about a total of 60% total on the battery. I think we pulled in around 20%, so it didn't add a lot of battery. That'll still give us about, over 100 miles of range. It'll get us to the next charger up near Morro Rock, or Morro Bay actually, and San Luis Obispo area. And we'll charge up there. We got to get enough charge there to make it all the way to Monterey up Highway 1. And it'll be dark just like it was 10 years ago. I departed for that drive at 9 p.m.-ish 10 years ago. And I arrived at the Big Sur campground at about 2 to 3 in the morning. It was almost 6 hours of traveling because I had to do it so slow to conserve energy. So, anyway, we'll chat later, but things are going pretty well, except for the slowed charging rate, which is getting me a little behind schedule. It's going to be a late, a late drive here for me, and I kind of knew it was going to be a little late, but not this late. So, anyway, see you soon. Well, we made it to San Luis Obispo, and we're at one of the chargers that I've used before. This, of course, did not exist in 2012. One little change, it was actually in the shopping center that's right over here. I'll flip this around. Yeah, the shopping center that's just off my left. And I changed the address in PlugShare many years ago to send people behind the shopping mall, because they literally put the chargers behind the shopping mall, kind of in an alley, and it was tough to find the first time I was here. Thankfully, Google and Apple Maps sent me right to the right spot, which I knew where to go anyway. But anyway, we made it to San Luis Obispo, and hopefully somebody's not using CHAdeMO, and it looks like they're not. So I'll be able to get plugged in, and it's not going to charge very fast because I have a really hot battery. All right, it's 2:10 a.m., 2 o'clock in the morning. Things didn't go so well at the last charger. The vehicle charged for an hour, and then the charger shut down and it wouldn't restart. 2 separate chargers wouldn't restart, and there's no other options for me if I wanted to keep going along the route. So I'm diverting here to King City. I only have 16% left, which is kind of comically.
The destination is on your left.
A lot
King
of
City Center. Arrived.
Thank you very much. It's a lot of energy compared to what we did 10 years ago. I would consider this. This says I have 36 miles of range. That's literally half of what the capacity of the car was in 2012. So yeah, there's no fear of running out of electricity or something like that. But I'm far from optimized. My time is way out of whack from what I estimated, based on what the car and the charging equipment should be able to do. So here we are looking around for a charger in King City. I did not plan to stop here. I didn't even plan to go on this route. And now I gotta find the chargers. Might have to break out. There it is. It just said it was behind it in PlugShare. Thank goodness for PlugShare, because without the little notes of someone saying these things are located behind the shopping mall, they can be pretty hard to find. So this is a first ChargePoint one we're going to use. I think it's ChargePoint. Might be a different brand, but let's give it a try. The battery is still pretty warm, but it's been 50 degrees, so, you know, close to about 10 C for, you know, hours. And, you know, I'm just mumbling now because it's so late. So park. I got to remember to turn the car off, different than a Tesla. Well, hopefully I figure this one out, because I forgot to bring an app, so it has to work with the app, because I didn't forget to bring an app. I forgot to bring the card, and it has to work with this app. All right, 3:08 a.m. Charge event number 5 is complete, or at least as complete as I'm gonna sit here for. This is the first gas station I saw that was over $7 per US gallon. It's crazy what people pay for gasoline. I think I'll just wash my windows. All right, it's 3:20 a.m. I'm 100 miles south of the San Jose airport where I need to be at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we've got some work to do at 9 o'clock in the area. And my crew is flying in from San Diego to San Jose. So I need to pick them up. We need to get some stuff done. And at 100 miles to go, I have 146 miles of range. So I should have plenty of range, provided I don't drive too fast. It's kind of cold out, 51 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about 10 degrees centigrade. Pretty normal, even in the summertime in this area. And all I can do is hope for the best. It's Saturday night, Sunday morning actually. Shouldn't be any traffic whatsoever. If I can get into the San Jose airport area by 5 a.m., then I can take a 3-hour nap, plug the car in, and hopefully it'll be fully charged. Although, as I saw 2 chargers ago, most of these chargers have a timer on them. They're only going to run for a certain amount of time, and then you're going to have to either restart it or move somewhere else and do it again. Not a problem with a Tesla, that's all I can say. A lot of these self-induced problems just don't happen with a Tesla. See you in San Jose. All right, almost 5 a.m. on day 1, really day 2. Well, we'll call this the conclusion of day 1. All I gotta do is find the chargers. Oh, there they are. You can see the sun coming up over the hills there. EV charging only, that's me. Looks like there's 2 different kinds. There's EVgo. Well, let's try the other EVgo one. Well, we know these ones are supposed to be, oh wait, these are supposed to be handicapped. All right, remember to turn the car off, which is different than a Tesla. And now it's time for a nap.